Okay. So welcome to game 3 of my over-the-board tournament this weekend of the Real BAC Championship in the Bay Area. We won our first game against a very high-rated player. We lost our second game against a 900 player. We're going into our third game feeling a little bit shaky. But ultimately fairly good. I had kind of gotten my mindset together and I was ready to go. It was 6:30 at night. We had played a lot. I've been playing chess since 9:30 in the morning, so it was a long day. But I still had a lot of energy. I was still pretty stoked. We had the black pieces here, so I'm going to flip this around. And one of the things you'll notice in this tournament is my two wins came with the black pieces. And I had 3 games with the white pieces, and I lost 2 of them, and I drew 1 of them. So apparently, my game with the black pieces is a lot better than my game with the white pieces. That being said, we start this game with d4. I wasn't super happy because I don't really love d4. It's my least favorite beginning to a game. But I was playing my classic King's Indian. Everything here was totally normal. Just super normal King's Indian defense. Playing very standard. This move was not good. So I was feeling super good now. I knew that the advantage was gone at least. I thought maybe I was winning. But I knew that whatever was going on, I was not worse. I pinned this knight just because I was looking at various things with, take the knight, queen, and then take this. That, of course, protects it. I brought my knight out, and here I traded, right? I really didn't have any other choices, because if I came back, I couldn't go here, and if I went here, you go here, and I just lose the bishop. So I had no choice but to trade at that point. Then I pushed here. This wasn't a good push, but it wasn't bad either. My thinking was, if he takes, then I'm going to take with my knight, and I'm going to be in a relatively good position. I was pretty comfortable with it. But he just closes down the position. It's not like super comfortable for me, but it's not the worst. King's Indian's players are usually trying to attack on the king side, and this kind of just like guides me towards the king side, right? Attack the way your pawns point. Also, usually playing against the King's Indians, you want to go this way. So this is a totally normal move and not unexpected. Didn't feel weird. Just had to move back and move my knight in, and I was feeling fine here. So I did. I moved back. Apparently there was a better move, and that was to just start pushing the queenside pawns, which is pretty weird, considering usually, like I said, the King's Indian wants to attack in the king side. But we let it go. He did this move, which was kind of a nothing burger. So I brought my queen out. And apparently this is a really bad move, but my thinking here was that I wanted to start putting pressure here. I wanted to force him to castle. Why I wanted to force him to castle, I'm not really sure, but basically I know that I kind of want to attack on the king side. I had this knight potentially coming in to do some damage over here. If I'm trying to attack on the king side, then, ultimately I want him to be castled on the king side. And he played a really surprising move. By the way, there was the much better move. Sorry, not here. The much better move was to push h5. Right at this point, it is starting to say, okay, let's push kingside, which makes total sense and also goes along with the theme. But for whatever reason, I decided to go with queen first. And here he offered a queen trade. And I learned from my last game. My thought process was, I think I'm ahead. I think I'm ahead right now. I was slightly ahead. I was less ahead than I thought I was ahead, but I was slightly ahead. And last game, I was ahead, significantly ahead, and I did not trade queens when it was offered to me. And this trade of queens does not help him develop. In fact, it removes his ability to castle. He doesn't really need to castle because there's no queen on the board. But he can only defend with the king. It's a check, so he has to do it right away. and it allows me to continue to develop or decide to do whatever I want to do. So I thought about it for a while and decided ultimately, you know what, we're gonna take. I did this before. I don't want to mess it up again, and so I did. From here, I brought my knight into here. It's saying this is a bad position, mostly because of this, which I expected, frankly. And he did play, I think. Oh no, he didn't play this right away. Right, the idea here was if he pushed first, I had a fork, and he found it, which I expected. And then at this point, I started pushing the f-pawn. My goal was to clear out this this f-file so that I could castle and have my rook on a semi-open file. That's what I really wanted to do. Ideally, if this came here, I'd be willing to do this, and then I could push up as well, and I'd have, you know, connect 4 here, which is pretty strong. He now pushes, and I took. And my thinking here was, you know, if he wants to take here, then I'll take here. And if he wants to take here, then I'll take here. And then he has to respond to this, and then I can respond to this. That was my thinking. Apparently the computer doesn't like that so much. Even though I'd be like a pawn up, the computer didn't like that idea. He took with his knight, and I didn't really want to get all my pieces off the board. I still wanted the tactics. Now the computer doesn't like that. The computer says no. Get first of all, it wanted him to take with a bishop, but then it wanted me to take back, right? It really wanted me to do this. I didn't really want to. I wasn't in the mood for it. I wanted to keep my pieces on the board, and that was fine. And he just goes back. At this point, I'm still feeling pretty confident in my position. I shouldn't be, because my position's not that great anymore. But it felt okay. And I castled. Luckily, castling was the best move, and it kept me in an okay position. He went here, which was not a bad move. In fact, it was the best move. And I come here. Now, I know this is saying this is a bad move, but keep in mind, there's like a lot, I don't know, when you're playing in-person chess, especially at the rating level that I'm at, moves like this are really hard to deal with, right? Because I'm threatening this. He can't kick it here because I can just take. And this is really frustrating for a lot of players at sort of this level. They don't quite know how to handle it, which you can see he did this. And as soon as he did this, I saw the tactic, right? And it made me super happy. So feel free to look and see the tactic. I'm sure you do. If you're watching this, you're probably not dumb. But yeah, so check. Basically, checks the king, and there's two options he has here. One is to come here, and then we can take the bishop, and he can take our rook, and we can take the knight. And then we've literally got 2 pieces for the rook, which is pretty good. That's a good trade. We're in a good position. The other thing is, if he comes here, we can take this, and we're threatening this rook, right? And so he kind of has to move in some way. Because if he just takes this rook, then we take this, and we're up a whole piece. And if he takes back here, then we take here, and we're still up a whole piece, right? So then we're just up a whole piece. He takes this way, which was the worst way to do it. And I take this way. So now I'm threatening this rook. And if he takes my rook, I take his piece, and we're up a piece. He decided not to, which was super weird. So I just brought this rook in to really threaten this bishop. Now, granted, he found a really good move, but even so, we had this fork. So I wasn't super worried about it, right? It kind of forced him to take this. He won another pawn out of this whole thing, right? But ultimately, the idea was I wanted to get pieces off the board, right? Here I was a piece up. I could have just come back. Right? And that is the best move. But my thought was that I didn't. I wanted to get as many pieces off the board as I could. I knew I was a piece up now, and at this point, I know that I'm winning. And when I know that I'm winning, I just want to win, right? So he comes here, and I say, no, I want this file. I want to keep the king locked down. I want to be stuck here. So now here I am. I really like this position. He comes over. I come back. It doesn't want me to do that, but I do. He prepares to push. I bring my king up. He pushes. I drop back again. And when he goes down, then I infiltrate. The idea here is like once I get on a second rank, it's going to be really hard. I'm blocking the only escape route out. So I was feeling really good. Pushing that pawn just was not a good idea. It put me in like a really comfortable position. He tried to push it again, which really didn't make much sense because now I'm just blocking his only passer. I've got this up here. I had so many things that I could do. Started pushing this. I just ignored it. And my thinking was, I'm just going to go here because if he takes, I'll take, and then I'll take. And once I start winning pawns back, I just win this game. I'm down pawns, but I'm up a whole piece. Yeah, so he moves, and I'm just here, and there's not much he can do. He takes here, I take back. He tries to go to this C file, and I just did a quick calculation here, and I'm looking at it, and I'm going, okay, look. I don't want to react to this. If I take here now, what's the point? I can take this first. If he checks, I can then take this. He'll take this because I know that's what he's trying to do. And then I can take this. And now I've got 3 pawns and I'm defending this. Right? So now at this point, it's 3 pawns versus 3 pawns. And I've got a whole piece advantage. And I'm loving that. So I do, and apparently that's the best move. He also plays that. And the whole thing plans out just like I had hoped. Now it wants me to... it wants me to check him. Because this is really dangerous, and I puts me in a better position. But we didn't do it. We played just fine. So here he goes. We come here, we check him. He comes here, and then we take this. Right? The idea was to get him away from here so that I could take this pawn. He moved away. I took the pawn. Now it's 3 on 2 pawns, and I'm feeling super good about it. He comes after my rook, but there's really nothing he could have done chasing my rook. I don't know why he was chasing my rook, but he was. And when he pushed his pawn, I figured this game was just over. I check, which he did not expect at all, and I take. I figure we're just going to exchange rooks here or whatever. He obviously can't exchange rooks. He has to take. And then I just go here. Now, obviously, there was better moves that I could have made. But everything that I'm playing here is fine, well, and good. There's nothing wrong with it. He goes here, and I come up here, which is the best move. He's attacking my d-pawn, and I just defend the d-pawn. And now my goal is to just sort of basically win this pawn. I see that I have this fork, and so... yeah, he comes here, and I fork, and I take. Now, it wants me to, pull off this crazy line where I, defend and kick him, like, even further away, let's say, like here, and, then we can take or whatever, but whatever. I'm happy with my moves that I played because the moves that I played were good enough, right? They did the job. At this point, most things were winning. Now he did this, and I check him. He moves here, and here's where I missed the first thing that I really shouldn't have missed. First of all, it went through my head that I could fork him. And I thought, but if I fork him, then he takes my rook, and I take his rook. This is fantastic. I should want this. I don't know why I wouldn't want this trade. But I didn't do it. And the worst thing is, if I go here, I missed that this defends this. He can't come here or go here, right? So he has to go further away from my rook. He only has these options, which then means, you know, when I take it, I actually keep my rook. This is just a massively winning game. It's over. You know, call it, lights out, GG. I missed it. It's okay. Anyway, that wasn't what I did. And I just wanted to trade rooks this way. After he moved there, I thought about it for a minute. And ironically, I decided that I'm going to trade rooks this way. Which is weird, because that's not even a forced trade. But what I did like about this was, to be fair, if he took and I took, I'm keeping his king up here, and I can bully his king away from this pawn and run it down the middle. That's what I'm thinking. So there was like a method to the madness. He comes up here, and I just think, okay, I'm going to go h5 because he wants to go h3, and then I can go h4, and then everything's defended by my rook. Right? So this is exactly what happened. Now, again, I'm so thinking, okay, I want to go h5, that I don't realize that if he goes h3, I have another situation where he cannot do anything, and I just, I just win it. So I missed 2 forks. 2 forks. So please, forgive me. It's embarrassing, but it happened. Again, we're at the point of the game where everything is winning. He starts moving his king over, so I start moving my king over, because I'm thinking, okay, he wants to try and get his king involved and, like, come down here and, like, you know, I don't know, win this or something. I'm not sure what he wants to do. Either way, I wasn't going to let him do it. I just figured, whatever. He did this. Now I finally can force the rook trade, which is what I should have done a long time ago. He has no choice but to trade. I mean, I guess he could not trade, but I'm going to trade one way or the other. And I come here. Now he moves up, which wasn't really a good idea. I moved that pawn there because it's defended. He moves over towards it. I move this pawn. He moves behind it. I move this pawn again. He moves there. I move this pawn again. Now they're both defended by my knight. He moves into the middle. And I know that I can just move this, and he has to chase it, and then I move this. And if he takes it, I queen. But I just thought, I'm just going to bully him back. And the interesting thing here, the reason that it goes from mate in 5 to only 8.3 advantage is because he has now stalemating options, which I almost missed. I almost stalemated this guy. He comes back here. I check. He doesn't take. And I'm like, why doesn't he take? Why doesn't he take? So then I think about it, and I'm like, well, hold on. If I were to move my king any closer, even here, in fact, yeah, at all, I just, like, lose this game. All right, I stalemate this game, right? I don't lose. So I'm like, yeah, I stalemated this game. So I took a minute to, like, think about it. And then just push the pawn. At that point, he takes, and I'm like, wait, this is super smart. If I make a queen now, he can't go here, he can't go here because of my knight, and he can't go here. This is another stalemate. And I'm like, holy crap, what a pain in the ass. So I push my king up here and basically say, okay, you have this row now. You can go wherever you want. So then he goes here, and, like, again, it kind of creates this weird situation where he could get stalemated. But I have a move that just makes it mate in 1. And now he has only one move alone, which is here. And even if this was a rook, I win. He did make it, and I did make a rook. So that's how I ended that last game. It was super fun. It was an awesome game. And yeah, won with the under promote. The under promote BM. To be fair, I didn't under promote BM him as to be a jerk. He laughingly said, "Do you want a queen or do you want a rook?" So I said, "I'll take a rook." So it's not like I was like, "Make a rook, please," right? Like he knew it was checkmate. Like he had played it all the way out. He tried to stalemate me twice. And so I think out of sort of kindness and fairness, he was like, "Okay, like, do you want to mate me with a rook? You deserved it." He's a very nice guy. We had a really good rapport. We had a fun time during the game. It was really cool. So I was really happy, and this was a really good game. So I left day one. That was the end of day one. I was exhausted. I left day one feeling pretty good about it. You know, at this point, I had beaten a 1390. I lost to a 908, and then I tied a 1041. So given the fact that I was 874, I felt really good about my chances of my rating going up, and that I was performing better than I did last time when I played a bunch of 1,000 or lower rated players, and I went 1-3, which felt pretty bad. So I will end there and resume with the games later. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. But thanks for hanging out. It's good to see you back, Infernos. And anybody else who stopped in. And I will be back tomorrow to play a few more games and to do the second half of the recap. Yeah, so that'll be tomorrow. I'll probably just do another short stream. But then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm traveling again, which kind of sucks. But then I'll be back next week, full on, preparing for my next tournament, which will be upcoming after that. So, all right. Thanks again. Thanks for hanging out. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, follow, whatever. Do those things that people do. And I will catch people later. Take care. Bye-bye.